Alright, I'm back. Part 2. That first part was getting kind of long. We just talked about how many different animations there were. I'm storing the size of my animation list, and I'm getting the animation list right there. So get the animation list, put it in here. Get the size of that list and put it in there, so that's a number. Alright, so you can't pick a number that's larger than your list. Otherwise, if you try to call it, it will crash. Alright, I'm wanting to play each one of these animations so I can see all of them in their wonderfulness. Alright, so instead of just calling or talking about the animation, I want to actually play the animation. So I can grab this up here at the top. We've already used it once. We know that it plays an animation, so I'm going to grab this and I'll put it down here. Play a walk animation. Let's just say play an animation like that. Now right here we're printing out the names of each animation, and you'll notice right there I've got my animation, the name. Well, this is also a name. This is the number 30. The last one was walk up. So I'm going to, instead of just typing a string literal in there, I'm going to put this variable here with that address, and it's going to point to the number 30 element, which was walk up. So this is going to play the walk left and right. The animation's going to finish. Then it's going to print animation finish. Actually, you know what? I'm going to comment that out. It's going to finish. Then we're going to store the list. We're going to get the size. Then we're going to say, here is an animation, number 30. And then it's going to play the animation 30. Then this animation is going to finish, which is going to cause this function to play again, which is going to cause the list to store and the size and print this out. And then it's going to play the walk up animation again. And we're just going to loop right here over and over and over. So let's see what that does. Make sure you're playing the ant farm one so it puts him in the middle. So there he is. And he is just walking up. Walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up. So the animation's finishing. It's playing this function again. He's walking up forever. There he goes. Alright. I want to play all those animations. So this number here, if you'll notice, my list starts at 0, and I can just stick a number in there. Well, first I want to put 0 in there, then I want to put 1, then I want to put 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 30. So at the top up here, I'm going to make a counter. So I'll say var animation counter. And I'll start it out at 0. There's my animation counter. I'll swap this number. Let me grab this, Control C. I'll swap this 30 out right here. I'll swap it for that counter. So now that's 0. And I'll swap this 30 with that counter. So now whatever animation I want is determined by this counter. So we're on 0. It should play attack diag down. Let's play. There it is, attack diag down, over and over and over. If I want to play number 15, I can change this to 15, and I can press play, and it's going to play idle diag down. Okay, I want to see all of those animations. So basically, I want to roll through each one. I'll start it out at 0. At the end of the animation, after it plays, I'm going to add 1 to this counter. So I'll say animation player add 1. So I'll say +1. So after this finishes, it's going to play the animation, then it's going to add 1. So if it was 0 and it added 1, it's going to go to 1. And if it was 1, it's going to add 1, it's going to go to 2. And if it's 2, it'll go to 3, and then 4, and then 5. And if you're thinking about what Mr. Eversole told you earlier on, there's only so many on this list. So let's see what happens here. So we start out at 0, plays that one, and then another one, and then another one, and it just keeps going up, 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 and it's going through all the animations. This is pretty much what we want. But you're going to notice at one point we're going to get to the end of the list and there's going to be no more animations, and it got to a number that did not work. I want to know what that number was. Here is an animation, and at the end of this we're going to put the actual number here. So I'll say comma, I'll do like this, and then I'll put that number. This will tell us what number we crash on, basically, or where we're at. So there it is. Play. So now it's telling us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm actually going to switch that because that's going to drive me crazy. Let's do, I'll put the counter first. Bear with me. Animation counter. Okay, so I just switched the order. I want to see the number first and then the name. So here we go. So we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's just counting up. And you're seeing we're going through all these numbers here. Eventually it's going to get to the end and the number is going to be too great. 30, 31. There is no 31. Stops at 30. So we're going to have to write a little bit of logic here. Anytime we're above 30, we need to start over. We need to go back to 0. Okay. So at the start of this, I'm going to say if counter is greater than 30. So I wrote 30 right there. That will never change in my code. However, I might add more animations. So instead of writing the number 30, let's use our counter, or let's use our list size right there. That list size changes based upon how many animations are in the list. So if later on you add another animation, that size will change automatically. But if you type the number 30, it will never change. So this is a part of being a good programmer. So right there, I'm going to put the actual size. And if it gets larger than the size, well, I just want to start over. If the counter is higher than 30, or the size, then I want to say start back over at 0. Alright, let's see what happens. See if it works. So this says if the animation counter is higher than the list size, go back to 0, print out the animation, play the animation, and then go to the next one. And it just keeps repeating. Let's see, we got 28, 29, 30. Crashed. That's because, remember, this size here, if you remember, is 1 off. So I'm going to, at the end, I'll subtract 1, and I'll give it one more shot. Come on, Mr. Eversole. Can't you figure this out? Don't you know what you're doing? All right, let's try. All right, so 9, 10, 11, 12. Those hurt animations are real quick. They're only like 2 frames. That's why they go so fast. All right, now we get all the way up to 30. The list size was 31. Minus 1's 30, so it stays in that range. It goes to 0, and it repeats. This is what I was wanting to see. This helps you so you can see all the animations play at once. You can make sure that it's actually working, and plus you just learned how a list works. The list labels its elements with an address 0 through whatever the size of the list. I want to see my thing here. Okay, there we go. And it just plays. Perfect. We got this little printout. You can check yourself. One error that happens a lot with you guys is sometimes you're checking your animations. Let's say you go to hurt diag up and you left the repeat on. I told you guys not to do that, but y'all sometimes have to learn on your own, which is okay. So let's see, I turned that repeat on. So now it's playing. It's telling you the number for each one. and then eventually it's going to get to that hurt diag up whatever, and it's going to get stuck, and you can see it's repeating. It's telling you the number, that's number 11, hurt diag up. Why is it doing that? Well, you left the repeat on. So if you turn that off, it will not do that. It'll play through. The reason it can't get past it is because the animation never finishes. This function only plays when it finishes. If you tell it to repeat, it can't finish, and it just keeps playing. Alright, that's going to be the end of this series, or this video set. I probably have assignments for you to do, but you can at least be caught up now. I hope you guys learned something, and have a wonderful day.